My name is Deborah Ho. I work at Barclays Bank in Singapore and I'm in charge of Senior Relationship Management for the Asia Pacific. Being in finance is a very, very important and very noble profession that one should take seriously because people, whether it is corporations or countries or individuals, are putting their trust in you. When someone does that, you have to take that seriously and responsibly.
I'm Tamara Hodges. I'm a Managing Director at UBS. I run the Prime Brokerage Sales team for Asia Pacific. I'm also married and I have one daughter, Ava, who's 5. And I'm very specific about that because I think it's really important to show that there is a family angle.
I'm Tan Su Shan. I work for DBS Bank. I'm DBS's Group Head of Consumer Banking and Wealth Management. My love affair with finance started at age 20. I was at Oxford University and one of my summers I spent working for an asset management company, and there they took me into a dealing room, and when I walked in I just said, my God, this is where I belong, I love it. In finance there are many jobs. There's consumer banking, there's wealth management, there's investment banking, there's sales and trading. There's a whole myriad of jobs in finance, and every job can be very different and every challenge is different.
The hours demanded in the financial industry are such that you're really cutting down your family time to such a minimum. I don't believe you can have it all. That is absolutely a myth. You do have to choose, and that's what challenges you.
Never a dull moment in finance. Markets move, clients move, people move. It doesn't matter if you've just had a baby, and it's the volatility and the constant movement of financial markets that is often a challenge.
I think the most important thing is to understand that there will be different components of your life that will be larger at other periods, and understanding that that will shift, and then you have to do what it is that you need to do to position yourself for those shifts.
The challenges that I face personally, I think, are really more around time management, having children, and then having children who then demand attention and want you home when you can't be home.
Probably one of the biggest challenges I faced was having the courage to step off when my career was in an ascent. Having done it, and now with the benefit of hindsight and joining the dots, I realized that if I hadn't had the courage to do that, I would have missed out on what I was meant to do for the rest of my career.
I took the decision nearly 3 years ago to not show an interest in a promotion because it would challenge my ability to be a good mum in my view. Easy decision to make at the time, difficult decision to live with.
There are some roles, for example investment banking, where if you have a deal, then live deal, it's 24/7. You live, breathe, eat the deal, and you may not have time to go home, you may not have time for your loved ones, you just can't even juggle, you've just got the deal.
In the early years, before you have other commitments, really max out your time in the workplace because it is very clear that there are certain points on your career path when it is easier to create flexibility in your role.
The truth is that after the crisis and with the scrutiny that banks are under, the world has changed, right? I think that the extremes in terms of compensation are no longer relevant, and hence I think that banks are looking for a much more long-term, sustainable approach to their business, as well as to their people.
Weekends where you have to go to work, deals don't wait, it's that constant juggling.
I probably travel for a week a month. And if my husband's travelling, we have a rule that we always get our daughter up, we always put her to bed. Well, that was getting really challenged, and so the only way I could manage it is she came in at 3:30 in the afternoon and we disappeared to a coffee shop and she had bedtime story at 3:30 for an hour with me. Ultimately, you have to kind of add flexibility where you can and try and make up for it where you can.
I think employers need to be more understanding that women have evolved and that technology has evolved to enable us to do a lot of stuff without being at the workplace. It's the ability to acknowledge that you can be productive wherever you are.
There is a culture of FaceTime in the financial industry, which is not helpful. I think quite a lot of the IT-led industries have been very smart about how they offer their employees satisfaction through work-life balance. I've constantly been told by my management that they've never needed to put me under pressure because the pressure all comes from me, constantly striving, but also constantly second-guessing yourself. You don't often see this in the male population of banking, so do come in with self-belief because your male peers have it in spades.
Be confident of yourself as a woman. Know that whatever it is that is wired into your DNA is valuable in the world of finance these days, because we are much more long-term, we are much more collaborative, and we seek to work in teams, which is where the world is heading. My advice to women is don't be afraid, just go for it.
Whilst you're young, try as much as you can. Don't be scared to rotate. Don't be scared to take a step back to go 2-step sports, and don't be scared to travel.
It's a great industry to be in. I get a great deal of satisfaction from it. I find it incredibly challenging every day, which is why I really enjoy it.
I would say that I'm even more positive about women being able to succeed in finance now, simply because I think that the world of finance is becoming more normal. I'm almost convinced that if Lehman Brothers were called Lehman Sisters, then perhaps there would be less of a pressure to work 120 work weeks with only 4 hours of sleep. Because if people had more normal lives, I think that the sisters would have seen that the iceberg was coming.